We're coming to you from the Radford Studio Center lot in Studio City, right over the hill from Hollywood. This is the place where dreams are made, legends are born. Hello and welcome to The Lot. I'm Suzanne Marques. Horror movie season is upon us as The Nun creeps back into theaters. The demonic sister is back in this latest movie from the Conjuring universe.
Sophie, what happened?
I think there's something here that's not meant to be.
The demonic entity in a sister's habit is back in The Nun II.
This thing, it's come back for me.
This demon was once an angel.
The latest film in the Conjuring universe is the third time for Michael Chavez in the director's chair for the interconnected series of films.
The Conjuring universe is 10 years strong this year. You know, it's been 10 years building up to this moment. And I grew up on horror movies, love horror movies. And when I saw that first movie, that first Conjuring movie, it was like I was watching a horror movie for the first time.
The movie also marks the third appearance of the nun in the series.
The exorcism of Maurice. In Conjuring 2, we realized that possession was actually the demon Valak, and she manifests as a nun in that film. We learn more about her in the Nun spinoff, and this is a continuation of it.
You send that thing back to hell.
Well, from scary to spooky, My Animal is a genre-bending supernatural love story with a werewolf twist. It stars actresses Bobby Salvor-Menwez of Euphoria fame and Amanda Stenberg of Bodies, 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 The Hunger Games, she played Rue, and The Hate You Give.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to want to rip that moon right out of the sky. But life doesn't work that way, does it?
I know you want to be an adult, but it's different for us. Someday someone's gonna come along and accept you for who you are.
Bobby Salvor-Menwez plays Heather, an outcast teenager secretly a werewolf who falls for the town's newcomer, Johnny, played by Amanda Stenberg, an alluring but tormented figure skater.
What do you want?
My Animal is really just like referencing our own personal struggles, right? Whatever those might be, it's metaphorical too. It's a werewolf movie, but it's a different kind of werewolf movie, and it's really kind of being used a way to examine the things that we, feel shame over, or the things that we try to kind of suppress within ourselves.
Director Jacqueline Castell says casting was serendipitous.
When I was doing my research, I knew I wanted to cast Heather's role first, just as like the sort of like center of the movie. And so I had been researching a bunch, and Bobby's name just kind of Bobby Salvor-Menwez just like kept kind of popping up and is in the New York film scene, and I am as well. So I was like, I think Bobby would be really amazing. And Amanda, so I should also say that Bobby and Amanda were both my first picks. So they were like top of my list. These are the people that I really want. And so I went out to Bobby first, and then when we had our first Zoom, this is like right at the beginning of the pandemic. We start talking about options for Johnny's character, and Bobby was like, "Well, who do you want to have play, Johnny?" And I was like, "Well, I really love Amanda Stenberg." And then Bobby was like, "Well, we're friends."
Oh my gosh!
And so that I had no idea about that, but they knew each other through the queer community in New York and LA, and they actually sort of admitted that they had crushes on each other the first time they met. Amazing. And I was like, how perfect is that? Because you sort of have that built-in chemistry and also the built-in trust.
You don't even know what they are.
If you like True Blood, you're gonna love My Animal. Meanwhile, on streaming, One Piece is currently one of the most popular shows on Netflix. It's based on the wildly popular Japanese anime and manga series, and scripts are already ready to go for season 2. We spoke to the directors of this live-action adventure.
Why would anyone want to be a pirate? This is the best thing there is. Wind in your back. Salt salty sea air.
These Straw Hat Pirates are now live-action characters in Netflix's adaptation of One Piece, based on the Japanese manga and anime series.
So what do you say? Are you with me? Mutiny.
If we're going to do a live action version, we've got to know why we're doing it. We've got to feel like we're adding something to the canon, not just replicating what already exists.
This crew, our crew, can handle anything.
The truth is, when you put 2D into 3D, what you're doing is you're dimensionalizing the characters. In 2D, you put pen to paper. You can draw whatever you want. You can have figures that do crazy, mad, wonderful things, and that's why we love One Piece. As soon as you decide to do a live-action version of it, you've got to give them an emotional life. You've got to give them a backstory. That's what the third dimension does.
It's ready!
What is it?
Or Jolly Roger.
Relative newcomer Iñaki Godoy leads the crew.
It's quite an incredible achievement for a young actor who was only 18 to lead an ensemble like that, to come onto set every day, he is full of enthusiasm and positivity, just like Luffy is.
I'm Monkey D. Luffy. And I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
One Piece has a great Rotten Tomatoes score, by the way, sitting at 95% for audiences. It's one of Netflix's highest audience scores ever. Meanwhile, the new PAW Patrol movie pounces into theaters September 29th. It stars Taraji P. Henson, Marseille Martin, McKenna Grace, and some adorable new young voices. Check it out.
The PAW Patrol is here.
These movies get better each and every time.
I'm excited to see the PAW Patrol in another light. They're on a totally different level.
And away we go!
7:31 p.m. A meteor suddenly veered off course.
The meteor's heading straight for us!
The PAW Patrol crew all have their own traits that makes each of them special.
Great! Now the clumsy pup shoots fireballs out of his paw.
Victoria Vance. She's a scientist.
Those should be my superpowers.
She knows what the power really does. And so she's trying to get it back from the PAW Patrol.
I'm gonna take them one by one.
We see the newest generation of pups.
What's up? People are gonna love them because they're all cute.
I'm gonna turn you into lean, mean, fluffy little rescue machines.
When they all come together, they make a very powerful team.
All right, puppies, playtime's over.
When you go up against one of us, you go up against all of us. Just because you're younger or you're smaller doesn't mean that you can't make a difference or be the mightiest pup.
Let's go!
Okay, turtles, you guys ready? All right, here we go. Let's do it. Hand down.
You heard the music, you see the faces, and that's ET's Nichelle Turner making the announcement about the turtles. They are the pizza-loving heroes in a half shell. Turtle Power took over the world-famous TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles left a permanent mark with their feet and hands immortalized in cement. The Turtles are one of the most popular franchises of all time, and they're so cute. Cuffing season is upon us, and we have a series making a big comeback and a second installment of animated franchise just in time for it. The future of UBA is in question in season 3 of The Morning Show.
I'm all over this network. I need to have a say in the future of this place.
What you are asking is unprecedented.
I am unprecedented.
Loyalties are pushed to the brink, unexpected alliances form, and everyone is forced to confront their values in and out of the newsroom. Season 3 of The Morning Show streams on Apple TV Plus September 13th.
It's go time.
It's all right. I went before we left.
Here's your first look at Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. Ginger and the flock try to take down a nugget factory run by the villainous Mrs. Tweety, voiced once again by Miranda Richardson. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget debuts December 15th on Netflix. Another film that's streaming are two best friends baking cakes and taking them to bars to meet people in the new movie Sitting in Bars with Cake. It's known as cake barring. Who needs a cocktail when you have dessert, right? It's based on a true and very sweet story.
Yeah.
To Jane, all-star baker, my best friend since 2nd grade, hero of the night.
Did you make it?
Jane, cut the cake!
Yara Shahidi and Odessa Azayan hit on a plan to meet guys sitting in bars with cake.
1 cake a week for a year. And I thought of a name. Cake barring.
The cake barring continues through romantic ups and downs for both friends and a devastating diagnosis for one.
It was one of those stories of like the inflection point in someone's life where after this moment, after this series of events, nothing's ever the same for that person ever again. And those kind of moments in someone's life are such great stories.
Shahidi got high marks for her on-screen baking from director Trish C. and food stylist Megan Pothoff.
She's incredibly intelligent, and so she picks up anything pretty fast, but she did take baking lessons.
I thought she did an amazing job, even from our first class. She nailed it. And I mean, it's always a little rocky in the beginning, but I feel like she did a really, really good job for never having making a cake before.
Assembling the roster of 52 cakes involved testing new recipes every Friday.
We had what they called sitting at desks with cake, and I would bring in like 3 cakes.
We ate so much cake.
I'm gonna look back on all this as that weird year we spent in hospitals and bars.
It looks so good. Best friends, cake, and love. You can't go wrong, right? Don't go away. Movie critic Grae will give us her picks on Paramount Plus and her reviews of what's new in theaters. One of those movies is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. And the Lot's Markina Brown will be joining us with a look at the history of the franchise. Markina.
Yes, that's right, Suzanne. The famous Greek family is back, and we have the reason why star director Nia Vardalos decided to continue their story when we come back.
Welcome back to The Lot. My Big Fat Greek Wedding started as a one-woman play written by actress Nia Vardalos in 1997, based on her own experiences growing up in a Greek family and then marrying a non-Greek. Now, more than 25 years later, the third installment of the franchise just hit theaters. The Lot's Markina Brown is here to take us on another journey with the Portokalos family. Markina.
Oh, Suzanne, when Nia was first in talks to bring her play to the big screen, film executives wanted to make drastic changes to the screenplay, including replacing Nia in the lead role, but ultimately the power couple, Hanks and Rita Wilson, stepped in to produce the film, and the rest, as they say, is history.
A long time ago, I had a big fat Greek wedding.
More than 20 years ago, Nia Vardalos introduced us to the Portokalos family in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
No one in my family has ever gone out with a non-Greek before.
Oh! Fast forward to 2016. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 showed us married life for Tula and Ian.
Ian and I are just trying to find a minute to ourselves.
And parenthood.
Florida, Texas, New York. These are the colleges I'm applying to. Why do you want to leave me?
Payback. Michael Constantine, who played Tula's father, Gus, died in 2021. Vardalos says she wrote My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, reflecting Constantine's desire that the story continue.
My father passed away, and his last wish was for us to visit his childhood village and reconnect with our roots. So, we're having a reunion. We're going to Greece.
Oh, yeah. Fans of the first 2 films will recognize plenty of familiar faces.
I'm calling it. You got us back to Greece. You're the head of the family now.
I can't really day drink like this.
Don't worry, a lady is never drunk.
The movie marks a franchise first for Vardalos, who took on directing duties for the 3rd installment. And the original sleeper hit that was released in 2002 is still the highest grossing rom-com of all time. More than 2 decades later, can My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 top it? We'll let you know, and we'll let you decide. Back to you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Markina. We shall see. Movie critic Grae saw the movie, and Grae, it's always hard to top the original.
Oh, especially when the original is such lightning in a bottle, right?
Yeah.
But the key with My Big Fat Greek Wedding and Tula and Aunt Vula and everyone in that family is really that it's their personality. It's so relatable. It's so sweet. And so that's why we've spent 20 years with all these characters. So in the third one, we've got everybody heading out to Greece for a family reunion, and it's wild as you would expect. Now, some of the jokes are pretty familiar, but I have a feeling that when people watch this, they're just going to be remembering how much they've loved watching this family grow up. And it's really effective that way.
Like chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, this is something that everybody understands. That, like, they have crazy family, right?
Yes, we all do.
If you think you don't have crazy family, that means that you're the crazy one.
That's such a good point.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding is just a great reminder of that. And also, like, John Corbett, by the way. Like,
So
let's just
sweet.
have a John Corbett Appreciation Society meeting.
Yeah, he's just easy to love. So, such a beloved classic, so comforting, but you have another choice.
Oh yeah, so over on Paramount Plus from the Crazy Family That We Love department, it's The Guilt Trip. Check this out.
What are you doing, Mom?
I'm trying to find my book on tape.
Okay, well, just keep your eyes on the road, for God's sake.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
It's called Middlesex. This tape is excellent. It's about a hermaphrodite. You know, a boy and a girl. Two different parts in one person.
Yes, I know that.
I love these two.
Right, they're great together.
Yeah.
I mean, Barbara Streisand is exactly the person that you want describing what a hermaphrodite is to you.
I love it, like a mom.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, being trapped with one of the greatest, most underrated actresses, I think, is really like a feather in Seth Rogen's cap.
Yes.
And so this movie is just the two of them together in the car. And I think the great reason to revisit it on Paramount Plus is just to remember why Barbara Streisand is the superstar that she is. Because just every scene, you're captivated with this character who is also kind of frustrating and maddening.
Oh, I think not to sell out my own mother, but all moms can be a little annoying, but we love them just as much. I love Babs just as much as my own mom.
That's right. Relatable. Everyone's lived it, and it's fun to watch, especially when it's Seth Rogen in the car with her.
Yes, Seth has another special piece of our heart. All these actors, so fun. So for the next, we're getting into spooky season.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm so excited for everybody to see the second movie in the Conjuring Universe's series, The Nun. She's back. So last movie, Taissa Farmiga from American Horror Story was chasing down this demon who has taken the form of a nun. They thought that they had, like, totally beaten her. Nope, she keeps coming back like a bad rash. And
So
right? And this time she's at an all-girls boarding school. The movie is really heavy on atmosphere. There's a really kind of intense, slow burn that the whole film has. And if you don't like horror movies, I think it'll drive you positively batty because it's really intense to watch.
Okay, but you get good payoff at the end?
Mm-hmm. You get a very good payoff at the end, and there's just tons of religious imagery to really unsettle everyone, which isn't unlike a totally classic movie available on Paramount Plus that I found in Rosemary's Baby.
Satan is his father, not Guy. He came up from hell and begat a son of mortal woman. Hail, Satan!
Hail, Satan!
Satan is his father, and his name is Adrian. He shall overthrow the mighty and lay waste their temples. He shall redeem the despised and wreak vengeance in the name of the burned and the tortured.
Oh my gosh, there are so many reasons I love this movie. Even the story behind the making of this movie is so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a classic for a reason. It's so deeply unsettling. And it's just a story about this young family, and they really want to have a child. They move to this apartment building. It seems like everything's really coming together for them, but their neighbors are weird. And Mia Farrow wasn't known as an actress yet in her career, her long career. And this movie brought her to the forefront. It is deeply upsetting on every level. And even though it's pretty tame by today's standards, back then, it caused quite a stir.
And wasn't this the movie Frank Sinatra did not want her to make?
Correct.
Which I love.
I know. It broke them up. And I say, okay, because it gave us this movie. Sorry, Frank.
Yeah, I'm going to buy popcorn, candy, and some sage for both of those movies. Thank you, Grae.
Perfect.
All right, up next, two megastars are going head-to-head at the VMAs and are single-handedly saving the economy. You might be able to guess who, but we have something for both of them that's new when we come back. Welcome back to The Lot. The new Taylor Swift movie based on her Eras tour is already setting records, and T-Swift is going head-to-head with Queen Bee at the VMAs in new categories. But don't make us choose, I love them both. But at least Kanye West won't be there, right? Taylor Swift continues to set records, this time at the movies. Her Eras Tour concert movie earned $26 million the first day pre-sale tickets were sold at AMC, setting a single-day ticket record for the company. The pop singer will be up against Queen Bee at next week's MTV Video Music Awards. The two megastars are going head-to-head in 3 recently announced social categories: Song of the Summer, Show of the Summer, and Album of the Year. They're both up for the previously announced Artist of the Year category. The VMAs will be held September 12th. And speaking of Beyonce, she famously sings that girls run the world. And in the past few months, the gals have been helping the economy. Women-targeted entertainment has drawn in nearly $8 billion in spending worldwide. And that's just in the last 5 months. Spending includes ticket sales, hotels, and restaurants related to Taylor Swift's and Beyonce's tours. And of course, we don't want to forget movie tickets and clothes for the Barbie movie. Financial experts say this boom in women's spending has been in the works for a while. More women are working, making higher salaries, and waiting to have kids until later in life. Check, check, and check. I'm doing something right. Well, things are really heating up on Big Brother. Alliances are being broken, and the votes are not unanimous anymore. And finally, I got to chat with the latest house guest to be evicted in a vote of 10-2.
It's a bad week.
Personally?
Altogether.
Or between me and you in here?
I mean, a little of both, I reckon.
Ever since I found out about being backstabbed by Cam from Jared, I haven't really been able to talk to him about it. If you shake my hand and look me in the eye and tell me I can trust you, that's something that I take to the bank. And unfortunately, Cam wrote me a bad check.
Red, thank you so much for chatting with me. How are you feeling this morning?
This is Big Brother, so, you expect the unexpected, and I'm not bitter about none of it.
So what do you think happened now that everything's over?
Honestly, I feel like my talk with Jared and me telling him that I was going to talk to Cam ultimately was what led to my demise in the Big Brother house. I feel like they were very threatened by mine and Cam's relationship, and rightfully so. I think the two of us was a powerful force in the house had we stayed together, and what they did was, even though it was deceitful, it was incredible Big Brother gameplay.
Isn't that wild? People want to trust each other, but at the same time, there's that respect when you're able to pull off a really wild move.
Well, and it's tough to applaud things that are typically viewed at as negative, but when you're playing a game, the skill set to win the game is much different from what, your normal idea of what's right would be in the real world.
Well, now let's talk about you. You miss your family, of course. What did you also miss when you were in the Big Brother house? Because you're really cut off from society.
Honestly, it was mostly my family. Nothing else in the outside world really held as much for me as just getting to see my family. I maybe left some things in a situation that I wasn't really comfortable with. I mean, I got almost a newborn. He's an infant, 10 months old, and Allie Mae is a young new mother. So a lot of those things weighed heavy on me. So really, the only things that I really missed outside of the house was my family. I dang sure didn't miss that phone.
I love that. Well, I will say, when I interviewed Hisam, I said, there are a lot of people who want to follow you. And he's like, no. And he immediately went online because I think you guys can make money. So if you can make money doing social media, would you consider?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I don't think it's a secret. I ain't the richest fella in the world. I've never been a materialistic guy. But ultimately, doing this was for the betterment of my family. I've said many times, if I don't get nothing out of this but a chance to take my kids to Disneyland and Allie Mae on a cruise, then I'm tickled to death. So looking forward to the potential opportunities moving forward.
Would you go back in the house again?
This one?
Or even in the future shows? You can answer
in the future, yeah. Going back in this house right now. So like I said, it was a tough time for me to leave my family, being that Legend is so young, and I feel like I'm missing important milestones in his life. But in the future, with more preparation and knowing what's coming, I think I would definitely play Big Brother again, and I would go in there with a different mindset and mentality.
That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Suzanne Marques. I'll see you again next week on The Lot.